This is The Way You Lead, a show for the new era of leaders who are ready to rise. I'm Joshua Church, and every week we explore how to lead from the inside out with strength, heart, and authenticity. Through stories, strategies, and conversations with embodied leaders, you'll gain what you need to lead yourself and others in today's changing world. The way you lead matters, and now is the time to step up.
Nikita, we are out here, my bro. Cheers.
Yeah, man.
This is pretty cool. We're sitting here in the lodge, 14,000 plus feet
About
up.
14,000. Yeah.
How many meters is that? What's the conversion?
4,250 meters.
4,250 meters. Highest you've ever been, right?
Highest ever been, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And maybe a little bit of background noise as we're sitting back here with our Sherpa guides and
What better
playing
background
cards. And
Exactly.
this is great.
This is the best spot
This
to
is
be.
it. Well, this is not my first international conversation I've had on this podcast, but certainly is the highest elevation.
Yeah, there we go.
So
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And Nikita, I haven't had you on yet, have I?
No, not yet.
Wow.
Not yet.
What
Been
a
a long
treat.
time coming. Been a long time coming.
It's been way too long. And I think this is going to be the first of many.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling? Firstly, maybe just check in. What's alive for you? What's present
Yeah,
for you?
feeling good, man.
I'm going to get some more hot
Nice.
lemon
We get
tea
some
here as we
tea.
get started. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Beautiful way.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Stuff is good.
I'm good,
Dank
thank you.
u.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dai.
Yeah, bro, feeling good, man. I mean, it's crazy the elevations and what it does to your body as well. Like we've been experiencing quite some interesting dynamics with our bodies over the past couple of days, like from the beginning till now. And it's just like really honestly being in tune and learning how like our body works. It's been good so far. Good. Right now, good. In the morning, a little bit of a headache, but feeling alive. I mean, you got to start off with like what we just did.
Yeah, I mean, we just did a cold plunge up in the cold immersion dip up at 14,000 feet in the glacial runoff from the Khumbu Glacier on Mount Everest. So coming directly down from Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, we just did a cold dip, which was, I mean, I've been so giddy since then. Like, you saw me over at the cafe after, I was just so giddy. I'm like, I feel amazing.
It's so good.
So good.
After that one, it's like it completely just woke me up, feels alive. It's just,
So good. Especially after, our acclimatization hike today.
I mean, yeah, we did 3.5 hours of hiking today.
Yeah, we went up
Very
2,000
steep up,
2,000
yeah.
feet up.
Yeah, we were
within
about
a couple hours.
16,000 feet.
Yeah, 16,000 feet, which is a high. I mean, we're at the
Yeah,
highest
yeah,
we've ever
we're
been.
at
So
it. Yeah, exactly.
today's a personal best. Every day is a personal best.
Every day is a personal best.
Yeah.
To be able to top that off by just like going in a cold plunge in the river and just like it just is also crazy. Like, you know, we're already doing something crazy, and we're like, you know what? Why not up it up a notch? Now, how many people do that? You know, where like you're already doing something nuts, and you're like, you know what? That's not nuts enough for me. Let's go. So that was great. That was awesome.
Well, this is. I know I had a moment when we were there in the river with you, me, and Jacob, my brother, and just like, look, like sometimes I have these zoom out moments of like, look what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're in deep. We're day 8 of our trek in the Himalayas up to Everest Base Camp, and we're like, just why not? So super special. Feeling really good. It's amazing to do this adventure with you, and wanted to just get this rolling here. I know we've been having some good conversations, especially after breath work. Good post breath work conversations. But you're on quite a journey here as you're getting ready to launch the Endure, your supplement brand. How are you feeling about that?
Good, man. Exciting, scary, nervous, all at the same time. Just the whole shebang-a-lang.
I love it.
First time I'm doing something like that, just launching a business. I mean, you and I have been in this, you know, the service space, like helping people for a long, long time. But definitely felt like the itch of like trying something new, something scary. Because it's always like when I'm at a place where I think I learned everything I could, or like 80% of it. It's like it becomes like quote unquote almost boring, or like
comfortable.
Too comfortable. Yeah,
Right.
you go through the motions. And that's where I just have to always catch myself, like,
Yeah.
do I want to just keep going with this comfort, ride this wave?
Right.
Or do I want to try to catch a new wave and learn the bigger wave or the different
So
wave, right?
good.
Like a different board, you know, all of that. So that was the biggest thing for me, is like, let me just jump into this different, you know, waves and see if I can do this as well.
So good. That's something I really appreciate about you, because I've seen that time and time again. It's like anytime you get like the slightest bit of comfortability or like plateauing sometimes. It's like, boom, something new. I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to do an Ironman. I'm going to launch a business. I'm going to do something new. And have you always had that kind of mentality, do you think?
Not always.
Not
No,
always.
not always. I think, before I was 20 years old, like I didn't know this growth mentality
The
was
growth
actually
mindset,
there. Maybe
yeah.
it was always there DNA wise, but I just never were able to get that out of me until I learned like, hey, actually, like this is what you can do this. You can make the choice to do this, right? Like we made the choice to be here. Right. Obviously, it's cool to like see the Himalayas, but it's also a choice to go to the suffering of like climbing every single day. Right. Not a lot of people would make the choice, even if they had the possibility to do so.
Yes, and spend lots of money to do
Spend
it
lots
as well.
of money to do so,
Time.
right? Like time,
Yeah.
energy, money, sweat, tears. No, it wasn't always like that. They had to make that switch.
When did that happen for you? When did you like activate in that way?
Yeah, good question.
Because like you're one of the like kings of personal development, as I might say. Like read the books, you do the work.
Yeah.
And that's something we connected on early on when I met you, however many years ago that was now. I don't know, 7-8 years ago, something like that. That it was like, oh, this kid is like, he's about it. And he's like, there's few people that are actually like putting their money where their mouth is and like putting the work in. And I noticed very quickly, I'm like, this kid, I like this kid. He's putting the work in. Like I'm gonna be friends with him. And so like, what was the catalyst for that for you on getting on this journey?
Yeah.
If you can recall.
Yeah, I mean, it's the person I am right now, the Nikita I am right now, is completely different than it was like when I was 20. So about 9 years ago, I think 9 years ago, I lived in Holland at first. I had a girlfriend that I was together with 7 years or something like that. And I also had a whole friend group and everything. And I was not in the best position in my life because the girlfriend also always kept breaking up, kind of a stoplights relationship. And I was on a lot of like smoking a lot of weed, drinking a lot of alcohol, partying, like all of that. Just spending my life, just kind of wasting it because I didn't know what was possible. Eventually, I got an opportunity to move to Moscow abroad. After my girlfriend broke up with me, she also took all my friends, so I literally had no friends. I was alone.
And she broke up with you?
She broke up with me, yeah.
Wow.
And she took basically all our friend group, and they were like seemingly not as good as friends as they were. I only had one kind of guy, which was also a bad influence, but I had a decision to go to Moscow, like something, and I can vividly remember I was like on a bike or I was walking, and I saw this like fork in the road. It's like either I stay here and try to figure this situation out with the girlfriend and this and that, or I go to Moscow and I can see a different life
Start a
happening.
new
I literally
chapter.
saw that fork in the road, like visually.
Wow.
And I decided to do that. My mom came up with the idea, and I was like, why not? No, it didn't cost a lot, and wanted to go to Moscow anyway, so I went there. Something called a prep year. 1 year study. Went there.
And you were how old at the time?
2021.
Okay.
Something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Wow.
And I didn't never heard about self-development, meditation, books, anything. I didn't know who Tony Robbins was, all of that stuff. So I went there. The first couple of weeks were really hard because like you don't know anybody, you don't have any friends, any relatives, any nobody. Like, and
So
also no
brand new
friends at home
country.
that you can call. So it was like, and that was
Damn,
basically the very very difficult
Wow.
time. Luckily, due to this prep class, there was one guy. His name's Ekrem. You
remember
met him
Ekrem,
in Germany. And I met him, and we started going out as well, also to pubs and clubs and stuff like that. So we're still kind of in that scene. But one day we were sitting at a cafe, we were eating a pizza, smoking some shisha, and he mentioned something to me like, hey, you know what? Like I usually wake up at 6 a.m. and I do these things, reading books. And I'm like, who wakes up at 6 a.m.? What the freak do you do this? I wake up at 1 p.m. Why would you not get extra sleep? And he introduced me to this like realm of self-development.
Ekrem really did. Wow.
He did, yeah. And he's like, hey, you watch this book called The Miracle Morning by, I forgot the name. But so the next day, I was like, hey, let me just wake up earlier. I started waking up at 9, which was a big transformation from 1 p.m. for me.
Yeah, whole lifestyle change.
I started to listen to the book Miracle Morning, then starting to wake up at 8, at 7, at 6. I was in Moscow to study the Russian language, but instead of that, I got so sucked up in self-development. I started waking up at 5 a.m. before we go to class. So we had to go to class at 8, 9 a.m. I woke up at 5 a.m., went to the study room in a dormitory, and just watched all the YouTube videos like about self-development, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, everyone that I could find. And I was like, it felt like as if like this, like I opened the door and this whole new world just
opened up.
And I was like, what? You can change yourself? You can do all of that?
Yeah.
Right? It's like just a big switch lit off, and I was instead of studying what I went there to study, the Russian language, I was studying self-development.
Amazing.
I was actually like going deep into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then spent there 1 year, studied that, really changed completely the trajectory of how I see life, what's possible. Became a little bit of a self-development junkie. That can also happen, right? Go a little bit too much on that side. Spent a year there. Then I moved to Antwerp. Again, I had to leave. He stayed in Moscow. I moved to Antwerp again alone,
Again,
completely
no
nobody. At least I
friends.
had him from the distance,
Right.
but completely no friends. But something called me to Antwerp, and then I kept like just this journey,
Right.
just going and
Wow.
learning. And
So it's so interesting because I feel like so many people that I talk to that get into self development of some kind, it comes from like for me, I got into it when I was like in solitude and I was really alone for the first time in my life, and it was like, oh shit, like what do I do? I started listening to podcasts or reading books, and then you catch this momentum or this fire, and it's almost like we need those moments or those times to like isolate us or to like
100%.
have us like have something bad happen to then like find another path almost.
It's in that moment, I think the breakup and losing friends was one of the hardest things in my life, and I was like really unhappy. But it became the best thing in my life, right? And I think that's often happens where it's like the worst thing becomes the best thing.
Right.
If you let it, right? You have to let
Yeah.
it become the best thing. You can also go into the whole deeper situation where you go into drugs and stuff like that, and you go other way.
So how do you let that become the not how do you not let that spiral down into worst case scenario and into a spiral? How do you look at what are some perspectives that have helped you look at life in those ways?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is like knowing that nothing is forever in a way. Like nothing is forever. Like this moment, whatever you're feeling right now, whatever is happening in your life, it could be anything. Everyone lives a different life. Knowing that nothing lasts forever, nothing is impermanent. Like so, it's yeah. That's the first step.
That's good. I like that.
And then the second thing, what I did is like I looked at people's lives that I looked at people that I wanted to be like, or people that I admired, and like what do they do?
Right.
I just study them.
Yeah.
I'm literally just studying them and like, hey, cool. They wake up at 5 a.m. or they drink coffee or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like, you just do the same things and
a good way
eventually
to
you
look at
start
it.
like.
So what advice would you give to Nick? I guess he was called Nick at the time, not Nikita. What advice would you give to Nick at 20 years old in the lows of the lows? Like, girlfriend broke up with me. I'm going to be moving to a new city. I don't know anybody. And I'm in a pretty low spot. Like, what advice would you give that version of yourself?
I mean, due to the fact that everything kind of went the way it went, I would say just follow your intuition, follow that gut feeling, because usually you know what the right decision is. Like, I don't think that people like even this past Nick didn't know what the right decision is. Sometimes you want to ignore that feeling because that's maybe the harder thing to do. Right, but like follow that gut feeling. Like we have the answer inside of us. We have the answer. Usually it's not out there, it's inside, right? And for me it was like making a decision to say no to everything that was going on in my life and say yes to like moving out, going to that was intuition, and I was like I accepted that and I took it. Because logically it didn't make sense because I was studying I should have studied law. That was my study direction. Yeah. I did 3 years of like pre-degree law, so I finished that one. I got my degree, and I would go into my bachelor's and start to become a lawyer. Or, like,
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my goal was to become a judge.
Really?
That was the big goal.
Love that.
Because I was like, I didn't know about entrepreneurship, but what I did know is that judges don't have bosses. They're the highest. They're the
That's
highest in
awesome.
the ranking. And I already had this like, okay, I want just something that I can't get fired, and I become
you're
the top of the top, which would have taken like 12 or 15 years, whatever, to become a judge. But having to make the decision of like, I'm not gonna continue this right now, and I follow the intuition. I have to go to the side.
So now obviously you make a lot of decisions as a business owner and as a high performing human. What are some ways that you found that are useful for you to listen to that intuition or to cultivate more of that so you can, even when it might not like make logical sense, you can go forward? What are some ways that have helped?
To like listen into that intuition?
Yeah, to listen and to follow your intuition. Because I feel like our intuition's a muscle that we can strengthen in terms of the more we listen to it and then take action, and then it leads to something great like that experience. It's like a positive feedback loop of like, whoa, I did this thing that didn't make logical sense, but I felt it in my body that I needed to do this, and I did it, and look what good turned out for it. Like, how do you on a regular basis, let's say, or how do you work with that?
That's a really good question. I would say you usually like like I think when you've been making decisions that are not good for you or decisions that are not aligned with the intuition or values. Like usually people just know and they just ignore that. So
Yeah, so true.
that's kind of the thing of like for example that McDonald's is not good for you,
Right.
right? I keep bringing
I
it
know, I
back.
love it.
But like some people will still do it,
Yeah.
right? And then maybe your intuition is saying like, no, you should go like healthy or whatever, right? But you're like, I want that, I want that thing. But the more you do it, the more you understand that you're not following that. But I feel like the more, if I turn it around as well, another thing is as well, no decision is a bad decision as well.
Ooh. Tell me more.
Where even if you make a lot of bad decisions and you come to a place where you're unhappy with your life, you can always switch things around, right? And it's like, yes, things compound, but like sometimes I know don't always listen to my intuition, and I sometimes can hear it, and I'm making a decision, and after the fact, I'm like, ah, shit, that was actually a bad decision. But it doesn't matter, right? You can always flip the script.
Right.
Like we're literally right now hiking with someone who is 76 years old, right? Who flipped the script of his life at 65,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's never too late to flip the script.
So good.
So even if you are currently not, following intuition, or every time you make a decision, you're like, I should have done it differently, right? I think that's okay. And this is what I, looking at back, I could be like, I regret, man, my first 21 years of my life, I didn't follow my intuition. I could have been so much further. I could have been a multimillionaire. Right. I could have, all these stuff. But like, no, it's like, it got you to where you needed to be. And then I made that switch. And like 5 years from now, I'll probably look back. I'm like, I probably could have, followed a little bit more the intuition.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, no, it's okay. You made the decision with the amount of knowledge and experience you have, right?
Yeah. And you can't blame your past self for making the wrong decision. And like you said, it's brought you to this moment where we always have a decision to make in the present moment. Like in this moment, like what does Tony Robbins say? Says our life doesn't take long for our life to change. It takes just a moment that we make a decision.
That's the thing. And the funny thing is like, and this is, I'm definitely a victim of this, overthinking. And usually with decisions, like it's a split moment. If someone says something or you have to make a decision, you actually know that. I believe this in this wholeheartedly. You know the answer right away. Yeah. So when you called me to go to Everest Base Camp, right? Like in that moment, I knew it was a yes.
Yeah, you felt it.
I was like, yeah, of course. But then afterwards, your thinking can be like, oh, this is too expensive. It's gonna be my time. Oh, I'm just starting a business. Then you start overthinking it, and then you start to ignore your intuition because your mind is louder. I think.
Right.
It's louder.
So true.
But your mind doesn't have enough time in the beginning to start thinking about it. So your intuition knows it right away. Like, you got to go to base camp. You got to go there. Or for me, for example, intuition is a big thing. I had an intuition to go to Antwerp. I don't know why. I've never had anything to do with Antwerp. Because I lived 1 year in Moscow and I needed to go out because I didn't want to continue studying there. My intuition said like, don't go to Holland, back where you were living from. Go at least outside. And Antwerp was kind of the first thing that popped up. I think I also talked to my mom, and I was like, okay, let's do this. I have nothing to do with Antwerp. It was like the weirdest little town like ever had. I knew they speak Dutch, so I was like, okay. But I moved there, and I met both my other best friend Suleiman and my fiance Mia.
It's incredible.
And then I moved out.
Yeah.
I got what I needed from it because I listened to intuition. Like, there's something there.
Yeah.
Just go.
So it was a business trip.
It was basically like a business trip. And I came actually to study there. I studied psychology and I dropped out. Right. I thought I came for psychology. I came to Antwerp. I applied for it. I started studying. But I went out of Antwerp not finishing my degree, but meeting two amazing people that are still with me and probably will be for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. And that was that could have been the whole entire point of Antwerp for you.
Right?
Seems like it is.
Right? That's the thing. So I think like your intuition, if I started to think logically more like, okay, Antwerp, it's not so nice. It's like, it's a small town, 400,000 people. Like, why not go to Berlin? It's a bit bigger. Yeah. It might have been going a completely different way. I'm not saying that that's a bad way. It might have also gone well. But I listened to that intuition and like...
So good.
It knows.
It's funny. I've been relearning this lesson in a big way because it's like usually, on the test when they always say, go with your first answer. Yeah. Like oftentimes you're going through the test and then you go back, you second guess, you change it, and you were right the first time. I think that applies so much. And it's something I've been learning. I mean, I had an experience with this just recently in Iceland. And, when I booked my travel, because I was in Iceland for 3 weeks before going to Portugal for a couple of days to link up with you, and then Kathmandu, Nepal for these 3 weeks here. And I booked a trip the way that I booked the trip first was, the last day I'm going to go from Iceland and go to Portugal. I'm going to recover for a couple days there and then move on. And then like a couple days before, I was like kind of sitting with it. I'm like, I feel like I need to, after doing 2 back-to-back retreats, I was like pretty exhausted. And I was like, I think I want to change because like I should logically have some time. I want to have some time, to myself, and I want to be able to sleep in, and like maybe I should stay in Iceland and get a hotel room, and like I'll go to the Blue Lagoon because I've been there. So I got a lot of my thinking mind, and I ended up like changing everything. I changed my flights, and then I messaged you and I was like, hey man, like just a heads up, change my flights. I'm gonna be coming a day later. And you were like, hey, no problem. But like if you want to change it back, like we have a whole room for you. Like, you take your time, do whatever you need to recover. And I was like, fuck, like in that moment I was like, damn, like I made the wrong decision. Like I was right to make the decision first to go recover in Portugal. And so I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. I already made the changes, whatever. That night, I don't know if I told you this, but like I woke up in the middle of the night and I was just like awake, and my body was like sweating, and I was like, it just wasn't sitting right with me. And I was like, I need to make this change back. And I made the change back, and it was the best decision I made to make the change back. But it was an expensive lesson. It was probably a $600 lesson because after changing my flights, and I had to like rebook on the same flight that I initially canceled, all the like long story. But I was so happy that I made it. And I was like, this is a good lesson. And I viewed it that way. I'm like, this is a $600 lesson for me to trust my first instinct instead of like getting up into my, thinking mind of like, oh, this, like, no. And what I found is that my body gives me feedback on that. And like, I will wake up in the middle of the night with something, and it'll be present. It'll be like physically, I can feel it in my body even now. Like physically, like it can be like, it can be like, I feel heat in my body, or I feel like a little itchy, or like, and so I think that as we start to get more in touch with our intuition, I've been really practicing this and again relearning this of like, listen to the body feedback of like, what is my physical body actually telling me?
Exactly. That's huge, man. Like you literally had like the moment experience, like middle of the night, waking up, and like your body had the answer. You didn't listen, and your body's like, what the fuck, bro? Like listen to me. It knows the answer.
So I'm working on and putting into practice right now in real time. I think the analogy I'm using is like, trust the first answer. Like when you're taking the test, like trust the first instinct, the intuition, before your thinking mind kind of comes into it. And maybe that doesn't work for everybody, but it seems to work for me.
Yeah, and I think what I usually also believe in as well is like it's either your body or the universe. There's two like big pieces like working together. Usually what I feel like they always give you a small lesson in the moment to get you ready for the bigger lesson that will come.
I like that.
In a bit. I usually have that. For example, when let's say I go running and I almost got hit by a bike, and because I had 2 headphones in, and I'm like, oh what? Wait a minute, I should put my headphones out because I almost got hit by a bike.
Right.
But I feel like that's a lesson of like, oh, if you don't listen to me right now, this massive thing is going to happen later on. I'm going to give you a warning right now.
Yeah, totally.
Right, similar with you right now with intuition. I feel like it's like, this is already a $600 lesson.
Exactly, yeah.
But maybe
Don't make
it's
it
like
a $6,000 lesson.
Exactly, right? And it's like right now it's telling you like, listen, there's going to be something big coming right now.
I like that.
You have to listen to your intuition.
That's great.
I'm just giving you a sign.
Yeah,
Here it is.
learn this lesson.
Learn
That's
this
great.
lesson before the big one comes.
Right, because what's the common phrase? It's like the universe whispers before it shouts. Like God will whisper to you first before he'll shout.
There you go, 100%. That's what I've been sitting on for the last couple of months and weeks. Like every time something small happens, I'm like, okay, listen, this might be something. This might be something like that teaching me, and it has been really helpful, right? Yeah. It's like the smallest, stupidest things. There's always a reason for it, right? And our body knows the answer. The universe knows the answer. Just gotta listen into that.
So good. So let's talk a little bit about this like new journey you're on. By the time this episode will air, Endure will be launched and out there in the world, all throughout Europe, people buying it. US soon, hopefully. Hopefully soon. And I mean, what a cool new chapter for you in your journey.
It's massive, yeah. Very excited.
Tell me a little bit about first tell me a little bit about Endure.
Yeah, no, sure. Endure, I mean, it started as just a random idea to scratch our own itch. So obviously last year I did like 2 half Ironmans and 1 full Ironman, and I got really into that, and also lifting heavy in the gym. Like, my body was taking a lot of beatings, and using a lot of different supplements, trying different things out, but never finding exactly what I want. At least from in Europe, I had some supplement I liked from the US, but it was really hard to import it.
Right.
And I kept like mixing different supplements together, like amino acids, electrolytes, vitamin D, And eventually, me and my partner Mia, we were like, why don't we check this out? Why can we create something our own to scratch our own itch? Because we need it.
Totally.
So we started looking into that and found that it's possible to create your own supplement. I've never would have thought that I would create my own supplement. And I would have never thought I would go into product business, but obviously working with Edge and with you is like, hey, there's something possible. I know it a little bit. I have some knowledge here, but not enough. Like I was like, I know a little bit, but I know the behind the scenes.
It's different when you're an operator, huh?
Exactly.
Are you finding that?
It's so different. It's so crazy.
You can be so close, like even through Edge, for example. I mean, like you were so close from pre-launch to launch to the whole to the wind down to the whole thing. You were right there, like front row seat and very active in it. But it's like it's a different
you're
level.
Front row seat, but you're not backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's like fully backstage.
Yeah.
So we started working, and basically what we're creating is it's a supplement of single serving sachets with high volume of electrolytes, amino acids, and vitamin D. Really to help people, specifically hybrid athletes that lift heavy in the gym and then go train for an Ironman, and their body just takes a beating, and they need something to recover well. So we've been working for that over the past 16 plus-ish months. We tried 18, 19 different samples.
Wow.
Different manufacturers. A lot of manufacturers said, no, it's not possible, actually.
Wow.
They literally said, no, it's not possible, until we found one that was like, okay, we can do this, and we make it happen. And we worked with them for a long time. Obviously, a lot of shit happened left and right. It's really challenging as well to work, especially in Europe, because in the US, it's still challenging. You work with China, but like, we're in different countries in Europe, right? Like, they're in Poland, we're in Portugal. It's a lot of different challenges. But long story short, it's like, we finally got a product we're happy about and we're excited about. We love using it ourselves, and now it's like in a couple days, couple weeks, we're gonna officially be launching, and then see from there.
So good. It's amazing. Product's great. I love that it's got the amino acids in it as well, and the flavor is fantastic, which is really important to get right.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
And you got my dad's approval as well.
Yeah,
which he rarely gives the
stamp of approval, like the biggest thing. I'm happy with that. Nothing else matters anymore.
And it's very cool to now see you go into this operator role. And one of the things that I admire so much in how you and me are building this brand is you're really focusing on building the brand and also like creating the content you create. It's amazing. I mean, some of these reels you're creating, one of them got 200,000 plus views, so cool. And you're just like, you're really bringing, I think, a very cool style of brand building on social media to it, and the way you're kind of doing a build with us type of, you've been having people 100%. Follow along the journey or the ups, the downs from 100%. Emails and social media. I freaking love it. I think it's brilliant. Was that that's obviously a conscious decision from you guys?
It's a very conscious decision, and there's multiple reasons for it. I think one of the reasons is like we don't know what we're doing, right? And like a lot of people online, like they kind of show us if they know everything, and then I don't think people relate to that anymore as much. Of like all the Lamborghinis and this and that, it's like you know everything. Most people don't know shit, like especially if you're starting a business. Yeah. And we want to just be 100% vulnerable with that. Like we don't know what we're doing, and we're taking you with us.
That's cool,
right? And we're learning as you're learning, and we're noticing as people like kind of like are completely like fully immersed in this. Like, oh, that's cool. Oh shit, sorry for you guys that this happened or something. So they're also kind of learning the process. They have the front row seat, or like at least maybe the second row seat of like we're actually here without needing to do anything. We just wanted to. The reason why we did it is we wanted to let people know like you can do anything you want in your life, and that's kind of also our whole ethos is like, the brand name is Endure, and the slogan is Build Different, but the biggest thing is also like, getting, doing stuff you've never done before, may that be physical, may that be mental, right? Like we never did this before, and we want to show people like, hey, we don't come from a background from XYZ, but we're still doing this. Yeah. And I already know there's a couple of people that were kind of inspired, like, oh, I love you guys' journey. I'm inspired by you guys. Like, whoa, this is cool, If there's even 1 or 2 or 3 people that actually like, you know what, maybe I'll also try something, right? So cool. That's what matters. Instead of us being this very flashy brand and everything looks perfect. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I could never do this, they have probably bazillions of dollars, like, no, we don't. We don't have no capital, no experience, no nothing. We're still doing it.
That's so good. That's so good. And I love your perspective on it too, which is like, I'm going to learn. And like, I could go get my MBA and go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and get my MBA, go to business school, or I could start a company and figure it out and learn from it.
There you go. You know, like what's really the worst thing that can happen? Obviously, like we're very fortunate enough. We've been working really hard for our own jobs for the past. Like we wouldn't start this like 6 years ago when I was a student and I had $0 in my bank. Like maybe with funding something would have happened. But we worked hard for the past 6-7 years to like really save a lot of money and be like, listen, what do we want to do with our money? Do we want to settle and buy a house?
Right.
Or do we want to build a business and make it even bigger?
Yeah.
And learn from that.
Yeah, take the shot.
Right. And if it doesn't work out, all good. We got this box ticked. We know certain stuff, and we can go to the next thing with more experience.
Such a great perspective to have,
right? And
especially going into it.
Exactly. Most people are afraid to take that leap, right? They might have like 10,000 in the bank, 20,000 in the bank, or whatever, right? They've saved up, and they want to maybe start a business, but they're like, I'm not gonna do this because what if it fails? Well, what if it fails, right? Especially if obviously there's different countries, different places, but especially if you live in a Western society like in the US or Europe, like. What if it fails? It doesn't matter. You can go back to get a job and do it all over again. Yeah. Right? But at least you risked it and you create stories, right?
Yeah, exactly. What if it fails? What if it succeeds?
What if it succeeds, right? Yeah.
Or what if you don't do anything?
Yeah. Yeah. What if the question what if has always been a big thing. One of the drivers as well, I don't know if I ever told you about is one of my biggest, it's actually a good one. One of the biggest drivers for me is like regret. Because due to the fact that when I was 21 years old, and I learned about self-development. I realized the pain of regret of like, holy shit, I didn't use my first, years of my life. Because one of the biggest regrets I had back then was like when I was studying for my law degree, I was taking a train from one town to another, and I was basically 3 or 4 hours a day in a train, either to and back. And I was just sleeping or doing nothing with it. So not listening to audiobooks, not watching good YouTube videos, not whatever. So I feel like 3 years went by and 3 hours per day accumulative. Right. I wasted that time doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And that was really a painful like realization. And sometimes I have this like, not right now anymore, but it was a big moment in my life where regret was like a fuel. Right? It was just a fuel for me, like, hey, I don't want to make this feeling again. Yeah. Right now I switched. Right now I'm not fueled by regret, but it was a moment. Yeah. And I used that,
Great.
And if someone is that, like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like use that anger or regret or fear or whatever as fuel to do the thing you want to do. Amazing. Right? Like, yeah, it's scary to, to start a business and fail. It is scarier to become 70 years old and ask yourself what if and regret all your life, right?
So true. I love that of alchemizing that. How can you alchemize that regret into action? Yeah. Right? Or that anxiety into action.
Exactly.
How can you transform those things and not just kind of circle the drain with them constantly, but use that as a catalyst to put you into action? Because it kind of comes back to the theme of this conversation, which is like, in every moment, we have the opportunity to make a decision.
And you can do small steps, right? Small steps. I was very, and I'm always still an introvert, but I was a very, very shy person back in the day. And I was like very like angry with myself that I was so shy because I couldn't meet people. I couldn't go networking events and stuff like that. What I literally did was the very first step. Even though I had my phone and everything, I went outside and asked people for the time. Just to approach people and be like, hey, excuse me, like, do you know the time? I know the time, but it's getting into that like first step of like the smallest step I can take is just ask for the time.
How scary was that at first when you started?
That was kind of scary, right? Yeah. Especially if you would ask a woman, right? It's like, oh, like now you got to go up to a woman and ask her the time, right? So like that was like freaking scary. And then eventually it evolved to like, oh, let me go to meetups, right? That's kind of an easier, like people are already in a networking mode. But I started to go step by step, and eventually the anxiety and the shyness became less and less and less. But it has to start with this very first step.
That's so good. Well, because now, especially with Endure, like you are front and center building this brand.
Yeah.
Like you're talking face to camera, and it's amazing to see. Like you're totally comfortable. You're natural. You think you're natural at it, but what you're telling me is like, I'm sure that was very uncomfortable at first too. Yeah. And you've worked really hard at doing that. 100%.
And it takes. I mean, we work together with back in the coaching business. Like how many pieces of content you have to make to get to the place where you want to be. But it starts with the first one, right? It starts also with the first one you might not even post, right? Like same like with asking the time on outside. If you're afraid of making videos, like just make a video but don't post it. Right. That's the first step.
Yeah, make it a really achievable first step, and then take another one.
There's almost no risk with those steps, right? No risks at all.
Yeah, that's a really good call to action to take away because like I think anybody listening right now, it's like we all know that one thing that we're putting off.
Oh, we all know that.
It's like that one thing they really want, but we're putting it off because of X, Y, or Z bullshit reason. And so what I'm taking from this conversation that I really like is how can you chunk that down into a really approachable first step?
Very small.
Because, going from A to Z is too big of a stretch.
Yeah.
If you're going from a starting point, like, you're just not going to be able to make that jump. It's too big. So, like, what's a step that you can make? And then you make another step, and then you realize, oh, I don't need to jump because I've just walked across here.
Exactly. And I think there's a lot of people, when we talked just previously about building a business, there's a lot of people that want to build a business but are afraid because they don't know how to do this, they don't know what to do, or how to talk to people. It's like, you don't need to do that today.
Yeah.
Just take that very first step, which might be buy your domain.
Right.
Maybe just buying your domain. Or watch a YouTube video about entrepreneurship, whatever, right? Like, it's like this step. And people listen to this podcast right now.
Right. They're taking a step.
That's a step.
It's amazing. And then take that next step. Like,
the next step.
It's so funny, but when we talk about intuition, I was thinking a lot about Iceland and that first trip in 2019. I booked to Iceland, which changed my life, from learning Wim Hof method, breath work, cold immersion from Joran, and reconnecting with my body in a major way. And I didn't have any logical reason to go to Iceland. It was just like, I didn't know anybody. It was like, this just feels like a yes. And the way that I got there too was listening to a podcast and hearing this crazy guy named Wim Hof talk on a podcast. And it was like, okay, I want to take another step. So I went to the website, and then I looked for a workshop, and then I wasn't able to find a workshop. So I went to the next step. I went to talk to a friend who went to a workshop, and then looked online and saw a retreat, and it was like, boom. And it was still kind of a big step, but I had taken many little steps to that point. And it's really amazing how quickly, when you follow the combination of listening to the intuition by taking tiny little steps. It's amazing how far you can go. I mean, like, look where we're at right now. Look where you're at right now. I'm sure the Nikita from going from going to Russia, it would be like, this is a crazy world to think that I'd be here. I'd do on a podcast, launching my supplement company in the Himalayas. Like,
there you go.
Figure.
Yeah, exactly. It's really crazy to think about it. You have to realize it. But it all comes with those first steps, right? Like the little steps, what you said, like follow the intuition. Like, you know what the answer is. And like you said, everyone listening right now has this one thing or something that they want to do, or if they're afraid of, or a trade they want to work on, right? Anything like that. But you just keep postponing that because it's too difficult. It's too hard. Right? Like, if you want to be a public speaker, but you've never spoken publicly, talking on a stage with 10,000 people feels like crazy.
So true.
But it's like, take the next step.
Take the next step. I want to hear a little bit more about the Endure philosophy, because I think it's great. Built different. I gotta get this in the shot here. Built different.
There you go.
That's the hat. That's the motto.
Smushed up with Himalayan dust.
Yeah, it's good. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly.
But tell me a little bit more about the philosophy of Endure and where it came from.
Yeah. The biggest thing where it came from is that both me and Mia, in different ways, Mia, so my fiance and my partner in the business, always felt different. I always felt different than the outcast, and always did different things differently, and due to that also sometimes a bit more alone, right? A bit more lonely, because being a bit different is lonely, and different can mean a lot of different things. It's very close to the premises of what you have with your podcast, like Find the Others, right? Like the others, the different ones, like we know we're different. We know we're built for more, we want more, we do more. Right, like it takes a crazy person to sign up for an Ironman and like do that, right? Like, and then anyone who's listening to this, and anyone who did an Ironman or did maybe powerlifting or build a business, you can look around. You probably don't have a lot of people around you that did the exact same thing. They might cheer you on. They are friends and family. They're great and that's amazing, and they will always stay without you. But you're still like the black sheep, the different one, right? And we just wanted to start also to create like a community around that, be like, hey, you're not alone. Like, there's quite some people that are different, right?
So
Lots of
good.
people different, and being different is good, is okay, is actually what you want, because some people might shy away from that. They're like, I want to do this one thing, but it's weird because my mom says like, oh yeah, why are you doing this like 100-mile race or something, like don't be so stupid. No, you're not stupid. You're just different.
Yeah.
You're built different.
You're built different. I can see so hype.
That's kind of the thing. It's like it's not because you're stupid or crazy. You're just different, and you gotta. We want people to lean into that.
Yeah,
more,
embrace it.
right? So like that's why we now on our shirts and everywhere we put it very massively. The people embrace that. Like, I'm built different. I'm the other, right? Like, and that's okay. I don't want it any other way.
Celebrating it.
Right, celebrate and do more of that.
Yeah.
Right? And it can be anything. Like, it could literally, you don't have to do Ironmans or marathons or whatever to be built different. It might be any other way. Like, Mia, when she was younger, she put like neon green hair. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
But she decided to do it, and she leaned into that and be like, I'm freaking different.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. If you are someone who is like, you love studying and you get like, always A pluses, but you maybe shine like, oh, I look a bit weird, like I'm the smartest kid in class. No, you're different. You're built different. Lean into that. Right, so that's kind of what we want to really, work with our philosophy.
So good.
To really lean into that more. And I guess I always felt different since I went to Moscow and I came, and I was like, man, I'm different. Like, it's like people around me are not the same.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, that's so good. Built different means you go into the river in the Himalayas to take an ice bath.
Right? No, but that's the thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like,
like, yeah, we're
honestly,
doing
like we were sitting on a table with like how many people? 16 people, 7 people. We asked who wants to do this, right? Who was as crazy?
Right.
Nobody even like flinched. Right? Not to say that they're not built different. They might have other stuff.
Oh yeah, they're all here built different.
They're all built different
yeah.
in some ways, right? But it really felt at that moment as well, like, okay, like we're like properly built. Like we're like, when you build different, it's like when only if it's in your realm. It's like you hear something, and you're like, yes, that's what I want to do. And that's where your intuition comes in. Like, I want to do this. And now are you gonna listen to your intuition, or are you gonna shy away because it's like you don't want to look different,
Yeah.
right? And everyone is different in their own way. Some things that our group does maybe we won't do, right? And it's different in their own way.
Right.
So however it aligns to you,
Yeah, and it comes. I think it comes from this deep psychological, physiological fear of being outcasted from the tribe, right? Because if we're different, then we're going to be outcast from the tribe. We're going to be deprived of love, of resources, of belonging, of shelter, and we're going to die. And so when we are embracing this built differentness, this being one of the others, it's scary because it's going literally against our physiological hardwiring for conforming. It's safe to conform because if we conform, then we're safe. There's safety in the masses. And I think that more and more people are wanting to step out from that because deep down it's like we might not fully mix with whatever the masses. It's not. It's and it's okay. Like your life's not at risk when you're embracing your built differentness.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna start saying that your built differentness, right? It's like
your built
That
differentness.
thing,
Exactly. It's that thing,
uniqueness,
right? And obviously because we're a supplement brand, we're leaning more into the fitness side of things.
Right.
It can obviously correlate, like we said, to everything. We're leaning very heavily into the physical thing. Because what I learned as well is like the physical aspect of being different like correlates a lot to the other stuff as well. Right, like if you're someone who, instead of just going to the gym, you're like, you know what, let me just try this like crazy, deadlifting or something, right? You want to like, you're okay with like going one step further,
right?
Than the masses. Like going to the gym is already healthy, and I'm grateful, I'm happy that a lot of people are going. But even that becomes a little bit like, sustainable. Well, the different ones are like, what if I, like instead of just going to the gym, if I, push my body's limits, like really find that limit, right? And I think that's the ones that we're like really aiming for, because they're like, okay, I'm different. I don't want to just do the regular thing, right? Like signing up for an Ironman, right? It's not a normal thing. Even though if you go to an Ironman, you see a couple thousand people participating, it's still only like what 1% of the human.
Yeah, not even
like it's actually have done an Ironman, right? So every single person there is like once made a decision like I'm different. I'm gonna do this freaking thing. Yeah, even though it's the most scariest thing I'm probably gonna do. I'm gonna do it.
And how cool is it too that when we embrace that built differentness and we let that authentic light shine through and we say yes to that challenge, like we inspire other people to do the same.
Exactly.
Like we're all just waiting for that person to be like, hey, you can do this too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like with whatever it is, with looking for, like, we can be that model of possibility. I always love this concept of models of possibility.
Yeah.
When you see someone who's doing something
Totally.
that you didn't think was possible, that becomes a model possibility. Like Brad, for example, on this trip for me is an amazing model possibility. He's 76 years old and he is just cranking up one step at a time up this mountain with us to base camp. And he is just, taking control of his life. And Tim, even for that matter as well, at 60 years old. At 40 years old, he decided, he was 45, 15 years ago, he decided he was going to take control of his life and start doing more of these adventures. And he's done 2 or 3 a year. And he's just stacked up this incredible resume and had his life-changing experiences. And it's like those to me are models of possibility that if they can do it, maybe, just maybe, it's possible for me too.
100%.
And that's so inspiring and gives me that juice to be able to take that next step.
Yeah, and like you said, they leaned into that differentness.
Yes.
Of theirs. Like,
and had they not,
Had they
they
not.
would not be a model possibility for me.
Exactly.
And and who knows the ripple effect that's going to have, right, for each person. And they probably have their own models of possibility.
Yeah.
So we have that opportunity by embracing our built differentness.
Exactly,
We
yeah.
have the opportunity to become a model of possibility.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, like, to an extent as well, like the Iron Man, like you saw me do an Iron Man, you're
Yeah,
like,
100%,
fuck it, why not?
100%. Yeah. I mean, like 2 years ago, I didn't even know what an Ironman was. I didn't know it existed. Like, even though
You didn't even know how to swim.
I didn't know how to swim or a bike ride, but it was like this differentness inside me, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, fuck it. Like, I feel like I want to do this. I feel like this is what, like, I want to lean into this. Like, a lot of people, friends and family, were like, what the frick
Yeah.
are you doing?
Right.
You could lean into that and be like, you know what? It's actually like, they're right. They're stupid.
Right.
Like, I'm stupid. I shouldn't do this. But what came from this, right? Like, you decide to do this crazy thing that is different.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the ball keeps rolling. You're doing more and more things you're doing different. And all of a sudden, like, you create all these stories, all these memories, all these lessons you learn, right? If you don't follow the masses. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Maybe where Build Different kind of maybe came from the backlog of, like, not wanting to be part of the masses. And I think a lot of people listening to this podcast have the same thing. Right. You're listening to a podcast that's called Find the Others.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
to two guys talking in the Himalayas. Like, it's not normal.
It's not normal. So it's like, and I think more and more people are waking up to that. Like, I don't want to be part of the masses.
Yes.
And for us, the phrase Build Different came because that's kind of like, the same as Find the Others, same as, Build Different. There's so many different phrases you can use.
Right.
But essentially, it's just becoming like, you want to go left or you want to go right. Right? And that's kind of like also where the name Endure comes from as well, where both of them have meaning, because Endure correlates back to, like, a lot of the things that make you be built different are also not always fun or easy or nice.
Right.
There's a lot of hardships, right? Like, when we talk about Tim and everyone here as well, that doing these trips is like, we're not doing it only because it's fun. It is hard.
Yeah.
Right? And you're different because you're choosing the hard path.
Yes.
And one thing I'm noticing as well a lot in this world, and we talked about it, is also the circle of, like, comfort zone. Like, people, life is really comfortable. We can get Amazon shipped like same day delivery, like, it's so comfortable, like, you can get everything you want, you can buy everything you want. And I think more and more people are leaning into this, like, comfortness and become weak people, right? And that's just I think it's a big, massive problem in the world right now. They're becoming weak, because if there will come a war, knock on wood, it doesn't.
Right.
We are not able to do it.
Right.
We're not able to handle it. Right. We're not able to handle ourselves or our family. So the name Endure came also from, like, making the decisions that make you endure and also become stronger.
Yeah.
Right. The same correlation with resilience.
It's so true. It's something that I find high correlation from people who live at a higher level of fulfillment.
Yeah.
People that feel generally more fulfilled, more happy, and also more successful. I think that there's fulfillment, happiness, success. If we kind of put those three together for a second, there's a correlation. I might go as far to say I believe a causation, but those people generally that I've talked to a lot of people on this podcast, and generally just networking and having conversations with humans, those people have a high tolerance for leaning into the hard things, whether that be physical, whether that be having a difficult conversation, whatever that is if you are willing to make the hard decisions and do the hard things, you can have a much simpler, better, more fulfilling, more happy, more successful life.
100%. I like that's it's like deep in my heart. I feel that, like, and that is the whole thing, the whole premises of, like, but you got to make that conscious decision because it's very easy to not do it. Right now, it's just very easy. You just, DoorDash, you just sit at home, watch TV, do nothing, eat McDonald's, like, do all of that stuff. But, like, you got to consciously in this day and age to go do the hard shit. And the hard shit might be something, for us, maybe now it's climbing Everest Base Camp. For someone else, might be running the first mile.
Right, exactly. Doing a mile. Get your shoes on.
Get your shoes on, go out there, right?
So
like, go outside. But you will, again, back to the point of, like, do that first step.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Go do the hard thing. Because also it's a muscle, right? The resilience and the endurance is a muscle. The more you do hard shit, the more, the harder shit becomes easier. Right? I think I talked to one of my friends. It's like going to the gym never becomes easier no matter how strong you become, but you'll be able to carry bigger dumbbells, right? If you go to the gym first, maybe you lift like a 5-pound dumbbells. That's hard, like you do your bicep curls. Going to the gym for 6 years, all of a sudden you have like 30-pound dumbbells. It's hard as well, right? But it's 30-pound dumbbells.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
right? And back same with reality in life. Right now, like something can happen in your life, like your car windshield can get broken. It happened to you as well, right? You can get completely angry to that, right? You can completely get like, fuck, this happened. Or a lot of you've been training your resilience and your endurance for a long time, and it's like, yeah, you know,
Right, I'll deal with it.
It's okay. Let's deal
So
with
true.
it. But it takes time to train that, right?
Yeah, you build a strong mental fortitude.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, like shit happens in life. You
Oh,
get
yeah.
curveballs.
Inevitably will happen.
Inevitably. Like, I mean, we were talking about it. I mean, early on, like when we first got here before this trip, like you were throwing a couple curveballs with some of the logistics and travel and things like that. It's like those are real curveballs, and those are curveballs that like will strike a lot of people out and will make you swing and miss. And it's like the reason why you go to the gym is specifically for moments like that, in my opinion.
100%.
The reason why I do cold immersion or breath work is specifically for the transferable skill of enduring, of having that resilience to when life throws me that curveball, I can be, okay, I'm okay. I can handle this. I'm built to handle this. I'm built different. I can handle this.
Exactly. And it will never be completely easy, but you'll be able to deal with it strong. And that's why, the cold water was one of the best thing to do, right?
Yeah,
you go
what a
into
great
cold
teacher.
water, like fucking almost freezing degree, right? And all of a sudden you go outside and something else happens in your life. You're like, okay,
I can do this.
shrug, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I was even training for my Ironman, I was doing a run with one of my friends. We were doing sprints. And and it was like quite a lot of intervals. And he was like, 6, 7, 50, halfway to the training, he was like done. He couldn't continue anymore.
Yeah.
And I kept going. And once we were finished, he was like, you know what I realized? It's like, it's not that you don't have pain. It's like you can deal better with pain.
Right.
Because I was struggling as much as he was.
Right.
But I was just able to deal with it better.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
this hurts, but I don't like. I need
Exactly,
to endure this.
but
I
you
need
can
to keep going.
Yeah.
And that made me really a big switch. That's where the name endure kind of almost came from. It's like, it's not about not being able to handle pain, or like not. It's not about like you won't feel pain.
Yeah.
It's about how can you handle that,
Yes,
right? Because
so
pain
good.
will never really happen.
So
Shit
good.
will happen, and that it's part of life.
So good. And you and I think a lot of people listening as well can relate to. There's a great translation to the physical endurance and the physical pursuit of this, because it's the perfect mirror for it all, because you're putting yourself physically, like it forces you right here. But a lot of people I think can build endurance and build fortitude through other pursuits as well that aren't necessarily physical or Ironman and stuff. And at the end of the day, I keep bringing it back to like, it's all about the transferable skill. It's about the conversation that you're putting off with your boss or with your partner. It's about how you respond to when you get a flat tire or when you're running late for something or something out of your control happens. Like that's that transferable skill. It's like, that's what I'm fascinated about when I'm focused on it. And any of my, workshops or whenever I lead retreats or anything, it's like I'm hyper focused on that thing, because it's not about the cold, it's not about the Ironman.
It's not about that. It's not about that.
It's about building that capacity within yourself and getting to know yourself. And that's one of the things I love about endurance sports, and why I've somehow found myself and becoming an endurance athlete and a mountaineer now of like is because it just wipes all the bullshit away, and it's you and it's you in your head, and it's you in your body, and it's like front stage, center stage. How do you respond to the talk tracks? And you get to rewire it as well with all these difficult things. You get to rewire like, hey, like I am strong, I am capable, I am healthy, I can do these things, I can endure hard things.
100%, and that's why the physical aspect is like, it's just so easy to transfer back.
It's a translation.
It's like so easy to like go do a sprint and you're just like completely like sweating and panting and whatever, right? It's just easy to translate. And if you keep doing that, then eventually like you get laid off your job and you're like, okay, that sucks. But I've endured harder things. Right. Like if you finish an Ironman or you finish a marathon or whatever, like I endured some hard shit. I can deal with this new problem that I have.
Yeah.
Like today I had the struggle when we were going up. Like we were like climbing 2,000 feet.
Yeah.
Like eventually in the last 10.
Yeah, that was a push up there.
Really a push.
It was a push.
I had to I was literally some ways almost saying a mantra of like, hey, you're like this is the moment where if you keep going, that's where you strengthen your muscle, right?
Yeah.
Because often we want to give up when it gets hard. But it's one of those things where it's like, that's exactly when you should not stop.
That's right.
Because when you do stop, you actually do the opposite effect, right? If you get to the point where you need to endure to give up, and you give up, that's where I think you weaken that muscle, and then you give your body to let you. Same thing with snoozing, right? The more you snooze your alarm, the more you're kind of unholding a promise to yourself. Same with this. If we would have given up like 10 minutes before, we actually became weaker at that point. Right. But because we kept going to the pain, We celebrated at the end. We became stronger. Because now next time when something happens, you'd be like, oh, remember the time on the mountain?
We got through.
Like, we got through, so we can get through this, right?
Yep.
And you know, one of the quotes that I think David Goggins always says is like, when you think you've done, you're only 40% of the way.
Right.
Right. That always keeps coming back to me.
So
like,
good.
It's like
so true.
most of the time you can always keep going.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. So juicy, man. So good.
So good. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why the word resilience is definitely one of our core values. It's like that's what we ask in interviews right now. That's what we always, you know, in the back end talk about. It's like you got to build resilience. Yeah. Like you got to build resilience, but one step at a time. Yeah. Like if you're not wanting to do an Ironman tomorrow, that's fine.
Right. Exactly.
Go run that mile.
It's just wherever your comfort zone is. One small step out of that comfort zone.
Talk to that person outside. Ask them the time.
Ask them the time is. That's such a good one.
You know, go do that 1 mile. Go, you know, do a push up if you didn't necessarily go. Yeah. Sign up for something that you're like, that's freaking scary, but I'm just gonna sign up for that, right? That's it.
And then the momentum just builds from there. It's really amazing.
It builds.
It becomes addicting.
The more you say yes to things, the more things are gonna come. And we talked about it yesterday when I said like, when you asked me, want to go to Everest Base Camp? It's like, if I say yes to this, the more of that will come as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? And
that abundance mindset.
That abundance mindset, right? And the moment you say yes to running that first mile, if you keep saying yes, you will run that 5 mile, and 10 mile, and 20 mile, and 50 mile. And then all of a sudden you're like confident enough to quit your job. Yeah. But that came due to the fact that you did other stuff. Right? You become strong as a person, more resilient to hardships. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's so good. I love this conversation about resilience. And yeah, I totally agree. I think our world, we've become so comfortable that
that's the problem.
Comfort is the enemy of resilience. They go against each other, right? Yeah. And so if we don't seek challenges that inspire us, challenges are gonna come regardless.
Yeah, and that's exactly, like, it's funny because as we're talking about, this is a good reminder for myself. Like when Mia and I started, you know, every company has a mission, right? Like you and Mitch had a mission, right? HSC had a mission. And some companies, for example, like I know a chocolate company, they have a mission to defeat the bigger chocolate companies and make it a healthier version. And Mia and I were talking about it, and I was like, what is our mission? Like, you know, we're creating kind of a supplement that, you know, obviously it hasn't been done before, but it's a supplement, right? And we're like, who are we fighting for? Who are we battling? And it was like, well, we're fighting like the average Joe, the couch potato. You know, we're wanting to like, you know, like find the mediocrity. What we just said, like finding the masses that are not, you know, doing the hard shit. Right. The weak, not necessarily fighting the weak people, but trying to turn these weak people into strong people.
Yes. Give them the opportunity.
Give them the opportunity to be like, it's possible. Yeah. Like if you feel like shit, if you feel like you might be built different but you're not doing anything, you can still do something. No matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, you can always make that flip. So our mission is to like battle the symptom of weakness. So good. Let's say it like that.
So
the symptom of weakness. And
I love it.
Getting people stronger. Like even if we can get like, you know, 0.01% of the people stronger, and they do shit in life and they help other people, like that's what matters.
I love it. I love how edgy and racy that is too. It's like it just calls it out.
Yeah, people are weak. Like I was weak. I've been weak before. I had to make myself strong. I had to make a decision. Back to the first thing we said, like we are making a decision to be here. Yes. It's not always fun, right? It's fun to be here in the podcast and have tea and stuff like that.
But when you have a headache,
in the midst of it, and a headache, you have AMS, you're climbing that mountain, you know you have to still climb 2,000 feet still. Right. And it's like, no, this is not fun. Who the fuck who's doing this?
I find it's just like this oscillation of there's these moments where it's like, I'm so alive, look at these views, I would rather be nowhere else, it's the most amazing thing ever, I'm so alive, I love this, I'm having so much fun. And there's moments where I'm like, I would do anything to just snap my finger and be back home. Like when you're in your sleeping bag at night and it's fucking freezing and like you have a headache and your body's aching and you know you got a 6 a.m. alarm going off to go hike up 2,000 feet and your stomach's not well because you're not eating food. It's like there's no fun in that, right? It's like type 2 fun. It's like
it is not that too fun.
It's just constant oscillation between it. But then when you take a step back away, it's just like that is part of it all, and like that
you gotta make a
suffering
decision.
is part of it.
You gotta make a decision, and that's kind of what it's a really good point for myself as a reminder to like that is the mission we're fighting.
That's it.
And the same thing, like me and Mia have like we worked hard for 7 years. We got a pretty comfortable life. You've seen our house. We look nice. You know, everything's fine. And we made a decision to like, why not start a business?
Go onward.
Why not, you know, go into it's basically taking 10 steps back because you're making $0. no matter how much people see it, you make nothing. You're taking the biggest risks of your life.
Right.
But that is the reason why. Because it is scary, because it is hard, because afterwards when we're like 35, 40, 50, 60, we look back at it, we're like, heck yeah.
We took that shot.
We took that shot, we did it, and we became stronger, and hopefully inspired a bunch of people as well. If we didn't take that shot, we would be 50, comfortable, watching Netflix, eating McDonald's, and like...
Regret.
all that. Yeah, regret. The biggest thing is regret then.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
Nikita, this has been an awesome conversation. I think we're getting ready for dinner time here soon.
Yeah, it's basically dinner
So, yeah, we'll wrap this up for now.
Wrap it
But
up for
brother,
now.
this has been a pleasure. I love you, man. I'm inspired
you
by
too,
you.
brother.
Grateful for you. And yeah, we'll tap back in at
We'll
another
tap
point.
back
Hopefully
in.
at base camp.
We'll
Feeling
see.
good.
If
We'll
we
do a
feel
little
good,
tap
we'll do
in
another
at base
tap.
camp and see
100%.
what comes up there.
Love it,
But
man.
good
Glad
stuff,
to be on
bro.
here. Thanks for having me.
Until next time.
Till next time.
Boom.